All right, everyone, welcome back to our magical Python adventure. Today, we're going to dive into the enchanting world of basic operations in Python. So let me quickly get something out so that we know what we're talking about. Basic operations in Python. Exciting, right? Right. So that's basic operations in Python, and basic operations are like spells that allow us to work with numbers and strings. So let's start by understanding the magical powers of arithmetic operators. Here are some magical symbols that Python uses for arithmetic operations. They may look a little strange at first, but don't worry, I'll explain their powers step by step. So some of these symbols are plus, minus, you know, modulus, um, multiplication, just to mention but a few. So we'll also talk about those ones. And first up, let's talk about the addition operator, which is the plus operator. It's like a magic wand that adds two numbers together. So imagine you have two friends, Tim and Jane, and they both have magical portions. Tim has five portions, and Jane has three portions. When we use the plus operator, we can combine their portions to find the total. So let's see how this is done in Python. So I would like to share my replete screen. That is the screen that where we are doing our coding environment from. Share yep. By now you should be used to coding in this place, right? This is our replete.com site. So we want to, like I said, use the plus operator. So imagine you have two friends, Tim and Jane, and they both have magical portions. So Tim has five portions, Jane has three portions. So how do we add them together? So I wanted to paste some code here. So we have Tim portions. So we create a variable called Tim's portions, and we assign five to it. We create another variable called Jane's portions, and we assign three to it. So five portions here, three portions here. Then we create another variable called total portions, and equals to, you now add team portions plus Jane's portions. What you do is to add what is inside them. Five plus three. So when we say print open bracket, the total number of portions is comma total portions. What is going to give us is the addition he has added here and put in total portions. So let's press play and see that works. So it says the total number of portion is 8. If we are going to change this to 15 and we run it again, we see the total number of portion is 20. So what did the magic? The magic was the operator here, the plus operator. It added the two numbers together and it gave us the total number of portions. So the code assigns the number of portions each friend has to variables, Tim portions, Jane portions. And using the plus operator, we add the values together and store the result in the variable total portions. Finally, we print the total number of portions. We can also use the plus operator to join strings. It's like creating a magical bond between words. So let's say we have the word abacra, no, abra, oh my goodness, abracadabra, and the word hocus pocus. Using the plus operator, we can combine these words to create a magical phrase. So I have some codes that I've written ahead so that we can quickly get through this faster. So you create your first variable called word1, abracadabra, create a second variable called word2, and you put inside it hocus pocus. Now remember, the previous example I showed you was only numbers. Let me show you that one. This is just numbers 5, 15, like that. But the second example I'm giving you is word one and it's inside code. So it's a string, it's not a number. So once it's a string, Python doesn't do a mathematical calculation on it, rather, it joins the two sentences together. So we created a third variable called magical phrase, which is um, made up of word one, this one here, and then we put a space. So word one plus a space plus word two, and then we ask it to print the magical phrase is, and then it should print what is inside this, which is it should be this plus a space and this. So let's run it and see what happens. Remember, we have the other program there, so it will run this and it will also run this together. So let's see how that goes. Right, so it gave us the total number of portions is 20, which is it running this code. Then he now went through this one and then printed this. The magical phrase is abracadabra. He put the space there and did hocus pocus. So he added this, put a space, added this. So the magic operator is this plus sign. It brings the two strings together. Never forget that. So if it's mathematics, if it's just figures, it will add them. If it's strings, it will put the two words together. Now imagine, so now let's also move on to another operator, which is the minus operator. So let me remove all these ones. This is when you can say, 5 minus 6, right? So it's the subtraction operator. It helps us subtract numbers. So imagine you have a treasure chest with 10 magical gems, but suddenly a mischievous, you know, creature takes 3 gems away. If we use the subtraction operator, we can find out how many gems are left. So let's write a program for that. So let's say we create a variable called total gems, which is equals to 10, and then gems taken is equals to 3. So gems left is equals to total gems minus gems taken, that is this, sorry, total gems this, which is 10, minus this one, gems taken 3. So when we print this, it will do 10, this will be 10 minus 7. So it will print the number of gems left is, then it should give us what is inside here, which will be 7. So let's run it and see. The number of gems left is 7. So if we change this to if we change this to 8 and we run it, the number of gems is left is 2 because it was 10 minus 8. So the same way plus works is the same way the minus operator works. So don't forget that. Now let's move to the next operator, which is the multiplication operator, and this is how it looks like. Uh-oh, let me delete that. Here it is. The way you can do 5 times 6. In the computer, you don't use X, you use asterisk. So that's another operator that we're introducing you to. Next operator is the multiplication symbol. It has the power to multiply numbers and even create repeated strings. So let's say you have a magic wand that can create sparkling stars. If you multiply the number 5 by 4 using the asterisk operator, you can create a magical display of 20 stars. So let's see how that would look like in code. So let's say you have number of stars equals to 5, and then you create a variable called multiplier, and you say it's equal to 4. So you say total stars should be equal to the number of stars multiplied by the multiplier, this variable here. So the total number of stars is, what is it going to do? Let me wait to see if you can get it. Well, the answer is it's going to multiply this by this, and we're going to get 20 here. So let's run this, right? So the total number of stars is 20. So you can type this yourself and see it work in your own scenario. Type all the codes so that you too can get used to typing it. I'm pasting the codes because I want to get through it fairly quickly. Now, you can also use the asterisk operator to repeat strings. Remember the operator, when it's dealing with numbers, it multiplies two numbers together. The asterisk operator, when it's when it's dealing with strings, when it's dealing with numbers, it multiplies them. But when it is dealing with strings, let me show you what it does. So let's say we have a scenario here. We have a variable called word, and we put in abracadabra as a string inside it. Then we have another variable called repeated underscore word, and we say here, what is here? Word multiplied by 3. Now we print it so that you print the repeated word is, and it should print this variable. Check out what happens. Just by using this multiplier, let's run it. You see, he repeated it abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra 3 times. Why? Because we said word times 3. So what it does is that it can multiply the word, the amount of times you said it should multiply the words. Very interesting stuff. Let's say yeah, that's good enough. Let's keep moving. So always remember that. So imagine, um, let's talk about the next operator, which is the division operator. Of course, I know you know it. It looks like this. So you can say 10 divided by 2, something like that. So in the programming world, how we would use it is, imagine you have 10 magical cookies and you want to share them equally with 2 friends. If we use the division operator, we can find out how many cookies each friend will receive. So if we were to write the code, it will look something like this. So total underscore cookies, total cookies equals to 10, number of friends equals to 2, cookies per friend be equals to total cookies, this variable here, divided by number of friends. So this slash this, so print the number of cookies per friend is, and it should give us what is inside this. So when we run the code, the number of cookies per friend is 5.0, right? So if we changed it and made it 5 friends instead, what will it do? Number of cookies per friend is 2. You understand? So what he's doing is he's doing a division and is returning the answer. He's returning the answer as a floating point, like a decimal listing. But you get the idea. All right, let's keep moving on. If you don't get the idea, pause it, rewind it, try to type your own idea of it. Now, but what if you want the whole number result only? That's where floor division comes in. Meet the double dash. So the double dash looks something like this, right? So let's say you have 10 magical candies and you want to share them equally with 3 friends. If we use the floor division operator, which is that double slash, we can find out how many candies each friend will receive without any remainders. So what this does is that it should do the division, but it should not give us the remainders. So let me give you an example. So let's copy some codes and let's paste it here. So total candies, the variable, we assign 10 to it. Number of friends, we assign 3. So candies per friend is another variable. We take this, and instead of doing one slash, we do two slashes, number of friends. Because you know when you divide 10 by 3, you're bound to get 3 point something. But here we're asking it should not return the remainder. It should only return the whole number. So the number of candies per friend is, let's see what it will do. The answer is supposed to be 3, to give us 3. Now, if we took away this number, this second slash, let's see what will happen. You see, it showed us the remainder. So when we want only the whole number, we put double slash. So what it does is it only gives us the whole number, it doesn't give us the fraction. So these are basic operations that you should know how to use. This is the double slash operator. Right. Um, okay, so now let's unleash the power of the double asterisk. I guess you have never heard of this guy before. This is the exponential operator. It's like a magic spell that raises a number to a certain power. So imagine you have a magical staff and it can multiply any number by itself. For example, if you take the number 2 and raise it to the power of 3, using the asterisk asterisk operator, we get 2 raised to the power of 3, which equals 8. That is 2 times 2, which is 4, 4 times 2, which is 8. So 2 raised to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, right? So let's see how the Python code might look like. So let's say you have a variable called base equals to 2. You now have exponent equals to 3. These are all just names. You can use any name. And then your result is equals to base raised to the power of the exponent. So you would have written 2 raised to the power 3 if you were writing it. But when you are doing computer this thing, you write base asterisk asterisk exponent, meaning 2 raised to the power 3, right? So the result is, let's run it. The result is 8. You raise 2 to the power 8. So anytime you want to do something raised to the power, this is the operator you have to use, right? Do not forget, it's always exponential operator. So it raises things to the next, to the power of whatever number you want, right? So I trust you are doing good, and I trust you are understanding what you're hearing. The next operator we want to call on is the modulo operator. Now let me show you how that looks. It looks like the percentage sign. But what this does is that it it um, it tells us the remainder of of a division. So you remember the double slash gives us the whole number. The the modulo operator gives us the remainder number. So let us run that program that we ran before. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, this is it. So let us run it. So instead of using double slash, let us use the modulo operator, which is your percentage sign really. And can you tell me what the answer will be? The answer will not be the whole number, it will be the remaining number. So let's run it and see. So 10 divided by 3 is 3 point, I guess 3.1. So let's do the full division. This would have been 3.3.3.3, right? But when you use the modulo operator, which is this one, it gives us the remainder number. So let me put modulo 4. 10. So this will be total candies, number of friends. So it will be 10 modulo this. So 10 modulo 4. So let's run this and see how this goes. So it shows that 4 went into 10 two times, and then there was a remainder of 2. Now let's do 5, and you see how this operator works. So 10 divided by 5, is there anything left? No. There's no remainder, so it gave us 0. What about 6? How many times can 6 go into 10? And what will be the remainder? 4 will be the remainder. What about 7? If I divide it, what will be the remainder? 3. So this operator gives us the remainder of a division. Whatever is the remainder of the division, it will always give you that. So when we said 10 modulo 3, 3 goes into 10 3 times, and what is left over is 1. Right, so my explanation initially was wrong. This always gives you what is left. So if you divide something, the remainder, so 10 divided by 3, 3 goes into it 3 times. But what is left? 1. Right, so I hope I haven't confused you and that you got this concept very well. And most important thing is this modulo operator. It always gives us the remainder um, of a division. All right, trust you're excited. Let us move on. So remember, there is the order of operations, and this is very crucial in Python. Um, we have a secret weapon called parentheses. This can change the order of operations and make things more magical. So imagine you have a magical formula that is 2 plus 3 times 4. So let me show you and remove this. So it's 2 plus 3 times 4. Let's run this first. Will it run? Will it run? Will it run? Okay, that didn't run. So let's do print, which is a function that makes it send to the screen. Now let's see. So 2 plus 3 times 4, it gave us 14. So 2 plus 3 is what? 5. Times 4 is what? 20. So why did it give us 14? What it did is that it added 3 times 4, which is 12. So it did the multiplication first before it added 2. But if you wanted it to do add 2 plus 3 first, then you have to put it in parentheses. So if you do it this way, to add this first before multiplying it. If you leave it by itself, it will do the multiplication first. So it's like board mass, right? Bracket first, division next, multiplication next, addition and subtraction finally. So let me run this and you see how this will be different. Now we get a different result just because we put the parentheses. So we tell it to do this place first before doing the other things. So the lesson we are teaching here is the parenthesis is also a powerful operator that can change the order of the program flow, the execution flow, right? So now that you've learned the secrets of basic operations, let's practice our new magical skills with some exercises. So here's your first challenge. Create a magical spell that calculates the total number of apples your friends have. So Tim has 5 apples, Jane has 3 apples, and Sarah has 2 apples. Use the plus operator to add the apple counts together. What's the total number of apples? So here's your assignment here. So you're supposed to write the program like we've been writing before so that we can solve it together. So you can pause the video and try to write it and then later join me in trying to solve it. So pause video now. All right, welcome back. I'm sure that you've written your program and the answers is already on the way. So let's make this a comment. Don't have you forgotten how to make a comment? We use hash hash. That's what makes the comment. So let's paste our solution here. So the question was Tim has 5 apples, Jane has 3 apples, Sarah has 2 apples. And so that's what we put here. Tim's apples 5, Jane apples 3, Sarah apples 2. Okay. It says use the plus operator to add the apple counts together. So total apples, which is another variable we created, is equals to Tim apples plus Jane apples plus Sarah apples. So add this, add this, add this. Total number of apples is total apples. So when you click for it to run, it will add all of them together, and there you have actually solved your program. So I trust you got 10, right? If you didn't get 10, wow, you need more practice. But for those who got it, great job. Here's another exercise. Um, so that exercise says that you should create a magical incantation that multiplies your age by 2 and adds 5. Use the asterisk and plus operators to perform the calculation. What's the result? Create a magical incantation that multiplies your age by 2 and then adds 5 to. Use the asterisk and plus operator to perform the calculation. What's the result? So I'm going to give you like 3 minutes, no, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to write this code. If you can't, then you come over here and then so pause the video and write the code yourself. All right, welcome back. So here is the answer. So we said, let's say our age is 10 and our multiplier is equals to 2, and we create another variable called addition, which is equals to 5. The result is age multiplied by multiplier, and then we put it in the bracket. In, important thing is the bracket. Why? Because we want this to run first, right? Age multiplied by multiplier plus addition. That is whatever is here. So it will be 10 multiplied by 2 plus 5. The result of the magic incantation is, and then he puts, yes, it's 25. So 10 times 2 is 20 plus 5. And that's exactly what he did. All right. Let me see how long we have been going. All right. Okay. So I think we should call it a day here. Until our next magical encounter, keep coding and let the magic of Python guide you on your incredible journey. Goodbye, young wizards. All right, then. So try your hand, always practice, and I will give in some strong assignments very soon. So I want you to get the rudiments first, and then we can move on from there. Have a good one and take care. Talk to you next video.